Melissa, welcome back to Test Don't Guess Tuesday. Today I bring you a case of a 51-year-old man named John. We're going to call him John. All of the information on his test that you're going to see has been redacted to provide anonymity for him. However, he was a client that came to me after being sick for 12 years. Symptoms that were very vague. He had no diagnosis, lots of brain fog, massive fatigue, really was fumbling his way through the day at 51, right? Much too young to be that incapacitated. And for the last 6 years, he reported problems with constipation, some stomach pain, sometimes doubled over in stomach pain. He's tried lots of things, again, undiagnosed. No one knows why he's constipated. He hadn't been able to be helped by anybody, so he came to see me. And of course, the first thing we did was run the GI map test, because our philosophy is test, don't guess, especially when it comes to the gut. There are so many complex things happening there. And until we get a really good sense of what that is, what the root causes are, we really can't heal. So I encourage you, if you've been struggling with your own digestive issues, to go to digestivediscovery.com. There you can take this test for yourself. I built a whole portal for you there that gives you lots of education about this test and how to read your own. So today I wanted to bring you John's test results as well as his treatment and what we did to get him better. So let's go over this test section by section. The very first part of this test starts with pathogens. This is where I expect to see people who have a lot of loose stools, a lot of traveler's diarrhea, things like that, maybe extended use of antibiotics causing loose stools. I would expect to see on this page. Parasitic pathogens, again, these are things that are easily picked up in water that you can get while traveling, and viral pathogens. If you have been sick in the last week or two with some sort of virus, I would see it here on the test. This section of the test, obviously the first section was for John negative. This section of the test tells a different story. So here under H. pylori, we see that his H. pylori value is high. His symptoms show that he probably had H. pylori, right, with the stomach pain and the constipation. Remember that H. pylori is the bacteria that causes stomach ulcers, that doubled over pain, that feeling like you need to take an antacid, like stomach acid is boring through your stomach. It's actually the bacteria that's doing that. Not only that, but that bacteria, the H. pylori, releases an enzyme, and that enzyme reduces your stomach acid so that the H. pylori can thrive. Now, with reduced stomach acid, your ability to digest is weakened and your constipation factor goes high. So we know when we see a high level of H. pylori that most likely needs to be addressed. However, good news for John, the virulence factors here are negative, meaning no further damage has been done by this H. pylori. And at this level, I think it should be, my advice to him is it should be easy to eradicate this. When we look at the commensal and keystone bacteria, remember these are the bacteria that should be in your gut, and every level here should be in the green. That's what we're looking for with a balanced microbiome. Already knowing there's a problem with H. pylori and the level of acid in the stomach, I would expect to see some levels overgrown and others undergrown. And that's exactly what we see here. Very high level of lactobacillus overgrowing, and Akkermansia and fecal bacterium prausnitzi very low. Remember, if you've been following me, Akkermansia is the bacteria that creates that mucus in the stomach, or the gut lining, excuse me, really essential for good digestion, smooth digestion. And here you can see there's no detectable limit of Akkermansia. That one needs to be addressed immediately. And there's a great product from a company called Pendulum called Akkermansia muciniphila. It's a single strain probiotic. It's available on FullScript. You can go to my FullScript account and feel free to order that with a 15% discount. And that will help to replace probably 2 to 3 months, I would think, of probiotic replacement would help with this level. The next thing we look at is this Bacteroidetes and Firmicutes levels. You can see that things are a little out of whack with the Firmicutes level being very high here. When I see high Firmicutes, I always think diet and digestion. And in fact, upon questioning with John, talking about his diet and what his intake was. His diet was pretty low in vegetables, very low in fiber, and very low in polyphenols. Remember, polyphenols are the chemicals that are in the dark, rich vegetables, like a dark red beet or a bright orange carrot or dark green spinach. Those contain lots of those nutrients that are essential for feeding the good guys in our gut. So we definitely changed John's diet here. He used my Good Poop vegetable soup, and you can download that at startpoopingbetter.com. There's a free ebook for you about constipation, and in there is that recipe. So he was eating that regularly. We worked on incorporating many more vegetables and some fresh salads into his diet to adjust this level for him. Next page of the test, no parasites present, though I want to remind you, this test doesn't do a good job picking up parasites. I have had many, many clients take this test, have negative parasites here, and wind up passing parasites when we get to the parasite cleanse portion of our work together. So I don't really pay too much attention here. When we do find something, we treat it. However, John's was negative. Probably the most important part of this test for me tells us so much more about your general health, the intestinal health markers. Here you'll see we're looking at how well he's digesting. His steatocrit levels were great. That's telling me that his body is able to process the fats that he's eating. However, his elastase 1, not so great, kind of low. Right? So that tells me more digestive enzyme. And in fact, giving John digestive enzymes before his meals, anything that was a complex meal, right? Not if you're eating a bagel on the run, but if you were going to sit down and have a proper meal, you would take digestive enzymes. And that very much helped his digestion. The GI markers were good. Beta glucuronidase is telling me about how he's processing hormones. That looks on point. A little bit of blood in his stool in this sample. I wouldn't be concerned. I'd like to see that at 0, though he did have a colonoscopy at 50. That was normal, so I'm less worried. Immune response, here, big problems, right? Secretory IgA is very high, right? Double the recommended normal limit. Secretory IgA is telling me that he has massive systemic inflammation, that his intestines that's where inflammation is starting in his gut. So we need to find the source of that and bring it down. Anti-gliadin IgA tells me that gluten is a problem for John, who claimed, I don't have any problems with food. Meanwhile, has massive stomach pain and constipation. If this is you, if you are listening, if you are watching this, and you have bowel issues, whether it's massive diarrhea or constipation or alternating, consider the food that you're eating. It's not working for you. Dietary change is mandatory. Here we removed gluten from his diet. We did follow-up testing with John. These numbers, I don't have time today because this is supposed to be under 10 minutes and we're already at 7. But follow-up testing, his IgA markers came way down, both secretory and anti-gliadin, when he changed his diet radically. Here you see the calprotectin creeping higher and higher, inflammation. While he does not have a diagnosis, John is undiagnosed. He is working his way towards one. All of this unchecked, John will get his diagnosis, especially when we look at page 4. In the first section, dysbiotic and overgrowth bacteria, right? We know that he doesn't have enough stomach acid, so we know things are going to grow unchecked. Streptococcus at the bottom of that list, often high when we see H. pylori. Bacillus, very high, and Enterococcus faecalis, high. Probably warranting, right, some antibacterial treatment. We use herbs, never medications, and that's exactly what we did. There are lots of antibacterial products that we can use. We focused on a 6-week course for John here to reduce these levels. If you look at the next sections, commensal and overgrowth microbes, he has high both there too. It's not red and off the charts, but it's present. Same thing with commensal inflammatory and autoimmune related, right in the smack in the middle of your page. All of those should be not detected. And all of those are creeping higher. Now, these create autoimmune diseases, and John is ripe for a rheumatoid arthritis diagnosis if that Citrobacter in the middle, which is high, very high, and these commensal inflammatory bacteria continue to grow. They will then become in the red, and John will start to exhibit symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. Remember, friends, rheumatoid arthritis starts in the gut. Many of our autoimmune diseases are because Food particles are passing from our intestines into our bloodstream, and our body is freaking out. We need to heal the gut. Heal the gut first. Hippocrates said it. No fungi and yeast, no viruses. Let's see. So that's John's case, right? Those were his symptoms. This was his test. What did we do? We killed the H. pylori. Then we raised the stomach acid. We also introduced some antibacterial herbs to take care of some of this overgrowth and some good bacteria into that system. We used a very broad range probiotic as well as and the Akkermansia muciniphila from Pendulum to replace that level. We did some big diet changes. He was eating a lot of kiwi fruit in the morning, starting his mornings with fruits, making sure he was getting good poop vegetable soup into his system a couple times a week. Also, lots of fresh vegetables and salads. Massive turnaround for John. We really thwarted for him an eventual diagnosis of an autoimmune disease by working on his gut. Now, he did some good repair. He's going to have to stay vigilant. He's going to have to stay off gluten, right? But he's feeling amazing. And when you start feeling good, those changes are easy to stick with. So if you're having issues, go to digestivediscovery.com, run this test for yourself, or reach out to me. Happy to help you. Stay well, and I'll see you next Tuesday. So let's go over this